Teza, just getting back to you on the training for the staff and the videos that you requested on Monday. Sorry, it's taken me a bit to get back to you on this. So I thought I'd give you an overview, then I can also give you the copy of the videos to review them as required. Again, lots of the reasons I've put these videos in place is it's been less about compliance, but more about operation, getting everyone on the same page, trying to straighten us up so we're not doing different things at different academies. But so the first way is I guess in relation to PD, to get our PD strategy better, I need a greater line of sight. So on Edge on Go now, basically our PD looks like this, and I set the PD for the staff. So if you have a look through here, there's a number of PDs and they get released each month for the staff. So an example might be here, where I thought we've got a bit of an issue around PD, where there's a bit of information on plagiarism, and they've got to watch videos throughout it on what plagiarism is. So a couple of them are click view, but mainly we make these.
It's important the students understand the importance that all work submitted is their own work.
So again, so for PD we do that, and again it's got a bit on APA referencing. And at the end of all these, they have to do a quiz. So especially with the ones we developed, it's not like they're getting a certificate for us, but we use a quiz to show evidence that they've had an understanding on plagiarism. So I'm sort of basing a lot of these on our needs at the time. So the industry engagement is one I've just given you before. What I do with PD to sort of still make sure that they can add their own touch to it, I put a PD on here, which is you're required to organise 1 day or 8 hours of your own professional development training in areas that interest you based on your vocational training. And they have to upload a certificate here. So I'm saying I'm setting the PD for you for the year, but you've still got that ability to go off and do your own thing as well. Also, they have to do industry experience for 3 days. This is where they get a chance to show me and the staff that they've done their 3 days vocational experience, where they've gone off and worked in a childcare centre for 3 days every 6 months, or if their personal trainers show that they're still training people or massaging people. So again, here they have to upload that evidence. So it might be a reference letter to say that they've done it. It might be, their PT log to show that they're still training clients, or a pay slip to show that they're still working in gyms or whatever. So that's the way we do this. So it's a mixture of vocational and vet. So say this is for childcare. This is more specifically related to their vocation as a childcare worker. Whereas this one here, industry engagement for vet, that's more a vet PD. Some of them, see this one on Sway is optional. Some of them are just on teaching skills, understanding the needs of students, like, stress and teaching better in classes. So they're across those 3 areas: vet, their technical skills, and their teaching skills. So again, this one's on standards for RTO, but there is one here. Instructions to assessors is quite a big one. And again, the reason I've put this together is because it's a big thing that you and Kerry were pushing on when we were doing the validation 12 or 18 months ago, is that we really tried to strengthen the front of our books, assessment books, with assessment instructions and the front of the assessor guides on all the information about the assessments that the teachers need to know, like rights and responsibilities, access and equity, etc. But even though it's in the front of the book, I'm not convinced that if a teacher got interviewed on them, they'd have a real strong response. So for that reason, I've gone through all the sections at the front of the book and made a video on reasonable adjustment, what it is, principles of assessment. So all those headings that are up at the front: model answers, attempts at competency, plagiarism, cheating, record keeping, providing student feedback, appeals, complaints and feedback, Basically, I've discussed for 3 or 4 minutes each one, and then put a quiz at the end to make sure that they understand it. So it might be worthwhile. I'm going to send this to you so that you can look to make sure I should have checked it originally. You're actually comfortable with what I've said in each of those videos. So at the end, that's a PD. They sign off. They pass the questions to show that they've done all that. But in regards to new staff, so I'm implementing lots of these things for current staff as part of PD. But what I'm also trying to do is when I'm building this stuff, I'm also rolling it out for new staff. So I don't know if you use Office 365, but I'm using the program Sway for this. So say that instruction to assess as the PD. I'm setting these up for new staff to do as part of induction. So again, this is an introduction to assessors as a VFA trainer and assessor, blah, blah, blah. Then it's got a bit about it's your responsibility as an assessor to understand your requirements of the various assessment tasks. And again, what I've got is basically all those videos in this Sway. So this is a design of how it looks when I set it up, but basically it appears like a bulletin, instructions to assessors, and as they read through it, they just click on all the videos. So I'll send this through to you, and then this is at the end when they do their quiz. They click on that, and all that gets recorded, so they've got a record with our new staff. So I've done that for that. For new staff, I've also got one called Getting Started at VFA. If we look at the design of that, it's about getting started. This is a bit about VFA. Then it's our history from 20 years ago to now, and what introduction to RTOs. It talks about the different types of funding and training, and what compliance is, what ASQA is, and all that sort of stuff. Then getting started is about them, because again, another frustration we've got is staff files. We get to audit time, and all the time it's just like, okay, let's look at the staff files. The managers go and look at them. I go and look at what the managers have got, and they've got a sticky note on them with 6 things that are missing that aren't up to date. So this is basically saying, now that you started, this is what you've got to do. This is the evidence you've got to put together in a folder. So again, 3 videos on that, and one there, and they do that quiz. I've also just put together, I'm also putting one together on pastoral care, which I'll send to you, because this is trying to get our systems, I guess, all stabilized. So I talk about what our pastoral care model is, why it's important, then trying to streamline all those approaches. It's taking a while to open.
As both a homeroom trainer or merely just a trainer at VFA Learning, you will have a number of responsibilities in relation to providing pastoral care to our students. Pastoral care can be defined as a commitment to an active demonstration of the website. The program is designed to VFA Learning begins with the career consultation.
So what I'm trying to do, Tezza, is just say, okay, this is the way we do it, so we can educate new staff. And it talks about, okay, this is the journey. So in regards to pastoral care, this is what we do at commencement in relation to career consultation. Then we have a handover process, what has to happen there, what has to happen on the first class, what has to happen in the first week or two, what happens with the feedback and why that's important, how you have to manage your class, how you have to have meetings and look at falling stars, how you have to deal with problem students and complaints. So again, it's just giving them a bit of an overview, but in there I've brought things in about forms and stuff that need to be populated to create consistencies, because again, we seem to keep having situations where inconsistencies come up. So if I get rid of that, and then back to these sways, I guess another one I've just released, and again, this isn't so much, this is again just trying to help with my workflow and having more people that can do more things. I put one together on Edge on Go, because Edge on Go is really quite bad in regards to support resources. So for the 18 or 19 of the key areas on Operating Edge on Go, I've put together a little video showing how to do them all based on how VFA do it. So that's how I'm using Sway, and I'm going to continue to do that. Also with Sway, what I'm doing is Maria's got us to do something which is pretty good, which is a bulletin called Quality Matters. So I've got another one to do this week, but with Quality Matters, so Quality Matters is also where we're using the videos where we put something out each month. It's a message from director, message from compliance, just any information about what's going on. But as we work down it, anything going on with training facilities, so just some pictures of the new nursing lab, LMS updates, so what the staff are waiting for, some information on learning content. So this is LinkedIn Learning, which you know about. That's Linda. So a bit of video on how they can use that. Bit on Microsoft Teams and what's just been added for professional development, what their latest professional development is. But again, if in here, if we want to release a video that the staff just say we're releasing new complaints, that's where we put that video in here as well. Again, at the end of each one, they have to sign here to acknowledge that they've read it and any comments. So we get a report back from the 35 staff to say, yep, read it. You can see which ones haven't, and they get a chance to say any responses. So that's how we're using videos there as well. I guess the last way, which I wouldn't mind you looking at, Tezza, because I guess you're the expert on this probably more than me, but okay, so the other way we're using videos, and if you could give me some advice on this, is that I guess the feedback I continue to receive is that maybe the assessments could be a bit clearer. Sometimes they're hard to understand. I've had it from auditors before. Again, auditors always like to find something wrong with your assessments, but I guess probably more concerning is that sometimes with the feedback from students is they weren't clear on assessments, but you also have the situation where students only half listen when the teacher's explaining it, then they look at it and they don't understand it, they sort of do it wrong, and then, or they ask the teacher 6 times. And so obviously understanding assessments is a pretty important thing for us. So I've continued to try and evolve the way they're written. What I've also done is if there's templates involved, I always add them here now. So I don't leave any flexibility of it being providing the template separately to the teachers for the teachers or putting it on the drives, because then again they start to use different ones and all sorts of things. So now it's always just one template. But what I've done is for every assessment task, and again we've started with fitness and we're rolling that out. Massage is next. This task is assessment task 1, which is a project and comes from the plan and deliver exercise cluster. The units covered in this assessment task are SIS, FIT, 002, recognise and apply exercise considerations for specific for a client that you previously assessed during your screening cluster. The second process is completed in this task as programs and upload to programs. Some key points you need to consider. So, Tezza, I might actually send through an assessment with a video attached to see what you think, whether what you think the auditors will say about using this method. The teachers are liking it. It's meaning that students that are only half listening, if they're not sure, they come through and they look at a video that's going to go through exactly what's required, common questions, what needs to be uploaded and where it needs to be uploaded and what they're going to be looking for here. Again, so it's working for us. I don't know if anyone else you know is using this method, but I intend to roll it out. So any suggestions on that? Again, we've got the rubrics at the bottom of the page. So again, so the students know, instead of having just a rubric there, in here it says, listen, there's a rubric at the bottom of the page. This is what the teacher's going to use to assess you. So look at that rubric and become familiar what's in there, so you can make sure you're covering off on everything. So Yeah, I don't know what your thoughts will be on that. Just let us know. But anyway, I've just put this together to give you a bit of an overview. So what I'll do is I'll send you this video, but I'll also send you some of the other ones to look at so that we can make sure what I'm saying is actually lining up with what you want the policies and procedures to be. And this will give you an idea as to how I want to go with this sort of stuff. But yeah, I'll speak to you soon anyway, Tessa.